Hey everyone, it's Pickerel here. As many of you know, I am planning a through hike of the Arizona Trail this spring. And so when I think of what through hikers want to know about what other through hikers are doing, everybody seems to want to know what everybody else's gear list is. What are they bringing that I'm not? What do they know that I don't? So I figured, hey, let's make another gear list video.
Okay, let's get started. First up, my big three. My pack, my shelter, and my sleep system. Now what's in this pile right here, there is one lie. My Sierra Designs Volt bag is not the bag that'll be coming with me on the Arizona Trail. I have an Enlightened Equipment quilt, 20 degrees, that is on the way, but of course Enlightened Equipment has more business than they can do. So they're on a 10-week backlog. Hopefully the darn thing comes in before I leave. Anyway, let's start with pack. Of course I have the Z packs. Arc Blast, very popular with through hikers. No surprises there. I do have the upper side pockets on mine, and it allows me to organize my stuff in a way that makes sense for me. On to my sleep system. Of course, I'm going to have that Enlightened Equipment 20-degree quilt. That's going to go on top of my Nemo insulated. I could have nights that are getting down around 20 degrees, so there's no question about having to bring an insulated pad. And since I am a stomach sleeper and a side sleeper, notice how mine's 25 wide, and it's got to be long because I'm 6'1". Here's a nice little luxury item that I bring. I bring 2 ounces of pillow, because I have to have my head elevated as a side sleeper, and I'm too much of a prima donna to just stuff a stuff sack full of clothes. So there, I said it out loud. On to my shelter. For starters, this is the desert, so you can't use a hammock system because, well, there's no trees. So I'll be bringing the Nemo Blaze, one person. Super light, semi-freestanding tent. Love this thing. Got poles, got my stakes, mini groundhogs, and MSR needles. Got some Tyvek to lay down as my ground sheet. I am bringing a ground sheet that goes under my typical 2-person tent, and I'm going to fold it over and make it double layered because there are a lot of sharp, thorny things in the desert, and I do not want that getting a puncture in it. The only other thing of note here is the white underneath. That is a trash compactor bag that I do line my Z-Packs pack with. Even though, let's face it, the Z-Packs packs are pretty much waterproof. Why, for 1 ounce, why not have an extra layer of insurance? Okay, next up we have my kitchen. So no big surprises here. Part of my kitchen, of course, I include my water filtration. I do use the VersaFlow. It is the size and weight of a Sawyer Mini, but it has the flow rate of a regular size Sawyer. So that's kind of a no-brainer. And of course I do have a 2-liter Sawyer Squeeze. So that is my water filtration system that I am bringing on the Arizona Trail. I know a lot of the water sources can be pretty mucky there. I'm hoping this thing survives and doesn't get completely jammed up, but I guess we'll see. All right, moving on. Of course, I've got my Ghetto homemade cozy for freeze-dried meals and anything else I want to keep warm while I'm reconstituting dehydrated stuff. Got my Sea to Summit long spoon. I have my Ghetto insulated mug here from REI. I also have the Snow Peak stackable 900 milliliter pot with a 450 cup/bowl underneath. Of course, we got fuel. My stove of choice is the 1.7 ounce Olicamp. What I like about this for the weight is look at how wide the head is. This thing produces a really massive amount of heat for such a tiny little stove, and it does it evenly because of that wide head. Of course, I got a little lighter and a little package for that. I do carry a little sponge there, and I've got my tripod to make sure I've got a level surface for my fuel. And then you're probably wondering, what the heck is this orange thing? Well, I am a self-described coffee snob. so I can't drink and I won't drink freeze-dried coffee. I would honestly rather eat the butt out of a dead rat than drink freeze-dried coffee. So, for 0.4 of an ounce, this is simply a tea steeper. Put a little bit of coffee in there and close it, swirl it around for about a minute, and I have actual real coffee. So that is my whole kitchen system. Next up, I've got all of my electronics. Nothing too exciting here. I do carry a fairly low lumen headlamp. I never night hike. I don't plan on starting to night hike, so I don't need a ton of lumens. This is just making sure I don't kill myself when I get up in the middle of the night to try to go, heed the call of nature. Because I take YouTube videos and stuff like that all while I'm hiking, I carry a 10,000 anchor. Probably more than I need, but better safe than sorry. And the rest of it is just, a cube and charging cords and headphones and a couple spare batteries for the headlamp. So yeah, not that exciting. For my next act, I've got all of my personal crap that I'm bringing with me. No surprise there, everybody brings the same thing. Deuce of spades and TP. These are all of the personal items that I bring along. Of course, I got bug juice, a knife. This thing's got a temperature thing in it, a whistle in case I've fallen and I can't get up. I don't like to hear, mice running around outside my tent because they, when you're trying to sleep, it sounds like there's a pack of bears out there. This is kind of a unique thing that I bring. It is a monocular. People who hunt would probably call this a spotting scope, but for 2.2 ounces, I can get really close to wildlife without getting really close to wildlife, and it's just something that I've always brought. I use it all of the time, so it's not a waste, and I'm going to be bringing it along this time as well. And just your assortment of personal crap that everybody brings. Most people don't bring deodorant. I like to at least try. I know a lot of times it doesn't work, but I at least like to try. I have seasonal allergies, so I've got to bring that crap. And floss works as both floss and if you need to stitch together your tent or stitch together your friend, it's always good to have floss with you. And the rest of my personal stuff, that is my med kit. As you can see on the right, I bring practically an entire Walgreens with me, which is kind of ridiculous, but I'll get to that in a minute. I got a splice for tent stakes, tent pole with duct tape wrapped around it, Luco tape for blisters. I got a tent and sleeping pad repair kit. I have a human repair kit. This thing I love. Good to know if you have a fever, if you're coming down with something, it's completely flat. You just put it on your forehead and it tells you what your temperature is. And of course, if you do get a temperature, that's okay because I've got Walgreens with me and I've got ibuprofen. Carry more blister stuff, pair of tweezers, stuff to stab blisters, a little assortment of betadine and iodine and bandages and I don't know what you would ever need. I've been carrying gauze pad for 10 years. I've never used it. I do carry some moleskin with a needle and thread in there. Of course, you can use floss as thread as well. And then on to all of the drugs that I bring. Why do I bring so much pills? The top is multivitamins. Let's face it, as through hikers, we pretty much eat like crap. So one of these every couple of days kind of helps keep all of your nutrients topped off. Vitamin I, ibuprofen, Tylenol, Pepsid. Nobody wants to have heartburn while you're trying to go to sleep in a tent. And of course, everybody knows what that little pill is, and we won't talk about why we need it. And again, I have seasonal allergies, so I have Sudafed, and I have some antihistamines. So yes, I bring practically a whole damn apothecary with me. So that is my med kit, and that is the rest of my personal items. Real quickly, I'll talk about my consumable stuff. Since I am going to the desert and it can be, 15, maybe 20 miles between reliable water stops, I'll be carrying 2 of these bad boys. We are talking about 1.5 liters each. So that'll be 3 liters of smart water plus a 2-liter dirty water bag. I can carry up to 5 liters at a time. I'm debating whether or not to just bring a little 750 mil one for my shoulder pocket, just in case, why not? Food bag and rope to hang it. What's cool about this dry bag thing is I didn't even know, I found it in my basement. I didn't even know we had it. I think my wife got this as a swag gift at a conference she went to, obviously the Tailings and Mine Waste conference. And it's a really nice, it weighs less than 3 ounces. It's a really nice dry bag. So that was cool to have that. Anyway, that's my water and food system. Lastly is clothing. So let's start with what I'll be wearing on a typical day. I've got my trail runners, Saucony Exodus 6.0s. They don't make them anymore. Before they stopped making them, I bought 3 pairs. So I still have 1 fresh pair with pretty much no mileage on them. Really excited to be wearing those. Of course, Dirty Girl Gaiters, hat to keep the sun off my head, and my Stance socks, a smart wool shirt, pair of shorts, and some Nike Pros. That's my standard. Probably going to be wearing that 80% of the time. Problem is, I'm going to Arizona in the spring. I'm going to be in the desert and in the valleys where the temperatures could get as high as 95 degrees. So I'm bringing a warm weather hiking outfit. Basically some wicking socks here, some Swift Wicks. This is a cycling undershirt that weighs less than 2 ounces. It doesn't have any sleeves, and a pair of running shorts. So hopefully I'll be nice and cool with that outfit there. All right. The other side of that equation is I could be in a blizzard. I'm going to be over 9,000 feet. A lot of people report that they have to hike through snow for the last couple hundred miles of this trek. So of course I've got my cold weather gear. Got my Montbell puffy coat. Got some Nike wind pants that I picked up at a thrift store for $3. Of course I got some Bridgedale wool socks, a Polartec cap from REI, and some arm warmers. Some more cycling equipment here. I don't bring a long sleeve shirt of any kind. I just use arm warmers in conjunction with my short sleeve shirts. It seems to be a lot more versatile. And I've got my sleep clothes. David Archie's because they're stupidly comfortable. And another smart wool tee. Let's see, what else do we need to know? Camp shoes. These things I found on Amazon. They were labeled as like gardening slippers or something like that. They're less than 4 ounces, which is a couple ounces lighter than Crocs, and they only cost like $9 or $10. They fit great, they're super light, they're obviously well ventilated to let your feet breathe and dry out and all that stuff, so that was a real score. You're probably wondering why I have my oboes up here, my hiking shoes, next to the trail runners that I'll be starting the trail in. The first 300 miles of the Arizona Trail is a lot of desert, warmer temperatures, no risk of snow or kind of poor swampy conditions. However, once you get past Phoenix and you start heading up to Flagstaff and beyond in the north rim of the Grand Canyon, you can be in snow and deep snow. So luckily, my wife is coming down to Phoenix. She's going to be bringing these with her, so I'm going to be switching from trail runners to these hiking shoes somewhere around a 350 mile mark. And since I'm going to be videoing this entire trek, I'll let you know whether that was a good choice or a bad choice. So the only part of clothing left to talk about is my rain system. What happens when it rains? And it will rain on the Arizona Trail. People think desert, no rain. That's a lie. You will get rain. So first, I split my rain gear into 2 pieces. I don't like having a rain jacket with a hood. Okay, call me crazy, whatever. So this is my rain jacket. Notice how small it is. This is another cycling item. It is an Endura Rain Cape for cyclists. It is 4 ounces even. It has a waterproofness rating of 20,000, a breathability rating of 20,000. So it will keep me dry for just 4 ounces. But because it's a cycling item, it doesn't have a hood. Nobody uses a rain cape with a hood when you're riding a bike. So that means I have to be able to protect my head somehow. I've got the silnylon Equinox hat, weighs 1.1 ounces, 1.2 ounces. So these 2 things combined are only 5.2 ounces. That's less than an OR Helium 2 for the same level of waterproofness. And what I like about having two items rather than just the one with the hood, versatility. What if I only want to wear that? What if I only want to wear that? I have that choice. So that is cool. And then, you know, I carry this is a trash compactor bag that I've cut the bottom off, and it's a ghetto rain kilt. I just tuck it into my belt, hangs down to my knees. It's perfectly waterproof, does the job just fine. I've yet to figure out why people spend money on a rain kilt when this works perfectly. And that is it for my clothes. It always amazes me when I see people do gear list videos that we as thru-hikers take this much crap with us. And what's cool about this much crap is this giant table full of stuff, fits very neatly into a Z-Pax Arc Blast, but more importantly, you know, this only weighs, I think I come in at 13 pounds, 1 ounce. So it's just, you know, it's an amazing pile of stuff that we get to bring with us and try to recreate the comforts of home out in the woods for just 13 pounds. So anyway, that's my gear list, another gear list video, woohoo! If you like this video, then like this video. If you didn't, well then don't like it. And of course, subscribe to my channel and follow the Lost Pickerel on Instagram. Thanks everybody.